안녕하세요. 저는 엘빈입니다. 감사합니다. 한국어 안 좋아요. Nice meeting you all. And thanks so much for having this session. And my name is Alvin. I'm the Territory Account Manager from Sonatype. Today, I'm going to share about SBOM, how you can use SBOM to drive a more stronger and better SCA strategy. And hopefully, after this session, we can transform from having a checklist, because SBOM sometimes is being used more of a checklist to make sure it fulfills the compliance, and translate it into a more actionable item. Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead.
I'll just do a introduction about Sonatype. So for Sonatype, we are in the software composition analysis space. So Forrester Wave recognized us as the leader in this space. As you can see, just doing some marketing here, we are on the top right corner for SCA. And we are the maintainers of Maven Central. The co-founder of Sonatype actually is one of the maintainers and founded in a way that maintain Maven Java, which is one of the biggest Java ecosystem in the world. So from there, we have a good understanding of how developers work, especially for Java ecosystem. Nexus repository, which is widely used by many organizations in the world, is the first private repository for enterprise to manage their open source components. So a lot of the companies leverage on the Nexus repository to proxy and pull open source components in a way that make it easy to manage all the open source components in one place. This is good because if not, the developers, like from the laptop, they will go up and pull down components into their laptop by themselves, and it become a nightmare for security, DevOps, DevSecOps personnel to manage all these open source libraries in one space. So Nexus repository is Sonatype product as well. And we also help to redefine the whole SCA, software composition analysis. We combine the enterprise-grade SCA with a more automated dependency management. Not only we are being recognized by Forrester Wave with the best database in the market, we also have tools like firewall and lifecycle policy that can help to automate the whole governance of open source libraries. And also, we provide recommendations for developers to do the fix. We allow them to do it shift left all the way to IDE, SCM, and build, so that they have a better developers experience in doing all the fixing with the recommendation. So Sonatype, every year we do a report on the and like analysis on the open source libraries. Last year is our 10th year that we produced this state of the software supply chain report. So in this report, we talk about how many people have been using the open source libraries, what is the number of downloads for different ecosystems, for instance, Java, Python, NPM, JavaScript, etc., where we give you a sense of the trend of open source libraries usage in the world. And at the same time, we also will, through this report, share about what are the best practices of governing the open source libraries. So if you are interested, feel free to just scan here. That will link you to this report where you can get it for free. So let's talk about SBOM. So what is a SBOM? So using the similar image like Professor Choi, we have the same mind. So SBOM stands for Software Bills of Materials. Basically, it details all the software components that make up an application. That is very similar to, like, today you want to buy a food or buy a cookies or anything. You want to know what are the ingredients that make up these cookies, so that you will know what are you eating into your stomach. If it's not the ingredient that you like or you think that it's poisonous, you do want to know, because you don't want that poison to go into your body, right? So this is very similar to SBOM, where it states all the components that make up this application in a piece of like a format so that you have a clear understanding what of this application consists of. So this is just an example to showcase to you. So another example, or perhaps I can expand a little bit more into software composition analysis is where today, if you are going through a custom with your luggage and you go through X-ray, X-ray will help to identify is there any thread. It seems that there's a knife here, right? And this is where SBOM come into place. So the middle part is a SBOM where it will list the list of all the items that inside this X-ray, and whereas SCA tool, software composition analysis tool, help to identify the thread within it. So it seems that we found a knife in it. But at the same time, it's also, if you have a very clear eye, you see that there's a gun here as well, right? So it seems that when you do an internet chat, this particular SBOM tool didn't manage to identify the gun in it, but at least it helps to tell you the list of components that is within this particular luggage, so that when there is a authority or someone else use another tool or another process to check your SBOM, they are able to verify that actually there is a thread within it, or perhaps maybe now there is a new thread for gun where this is a new malware, new vulnerability came out, that they are able to identify this thread now because you have SBOM that provide to them or yourself to do a verifications. So that's where the SBOM come in. It's sort of like a single source of truth for your application where everyone, the external, or in the future where you bring in the better SCA tool that can help you to discover the thread for your application. So you do want to do this, right? Because you want to be able to identify all the threads within your application, if they are, instead of bypassing not identify the gun that is supposed to be identified. So there is the beauty of SBOM where it lists out all the components of the applications, so allow you to have a visibility on your application. So for Sonatype, this is one of the format of SBOM that we produce. So because Sonatype, especially for our lifecycle product, we have our own database, and also we have a policy based on the CVSS score, which this can be set by yourself or by default set by us. We will show you the SBOM and also correspondingly tell you that based on these components, does it against any of the policy because of the threat that it possesses. So for instance, if this particular component is against the security critical because it contains the CVSS score very high, 9 to 10 points, it will flag out as 10 for threat, so that you are able to, based on this piece of information, to do a necessary action on it. So what is a SCA, software composition analysis? So here, as you can see, is a list of libraries that this particular developer is using. And SCA help you to identify, is there any vulnerability within these libraries? It can be based on a CVE code. For Sonatype, apart from CVE code, we also have a Sonatype code where we discover the vulnerability or malicious code by ourselves first. If we are the first one to discover before CVE, we will put Sonatype code in it. Sometimes we able to find it, for instance, in 2020, we will have Sonatype-2020 for this particular vulnerability. Until CVE came out, then our Sonatype code will be replaced by CVE. So this is just I want to show you an example of SCA, how we identify the vulnerability in it. So for Sonatype, we have seen that there is a growth of CVEs in the world from 1999 to 2023. The number keep increasing. As you can see, it's quite exponential. Every year, the number increased by to 2023 is somewhere around 25,000. And We also have discovered, especially for malicious packages, the number in 2024 increased up to 700K. This is in one of the state of the supply chain report in 2024 that we produced. And recently, which is only last quarter, we have discovered that open source malware number increased up to 830,000, of which just in quarter one, last quarter, there is an additional of 18,000 new open source malware. So among these 18,000 open source malware, 56% of the 18,000 came from data exfiltration packages. That means when it comes in, it tries to steal information up. So this is about this package. And there are crypto miner, security holdings, and contain backdoors. So this is some of the research that we managed to discover. And also all this information, the database, have been added into Sonatype proprietary database. That means if you're using Sonatype solutions, you have access to all these database. Yeah. Okay. Means software supply chain is very important because you need that good CI/CD to help you to push an application out as quick as possible. A good CI/CD can help you to increase the development productivity, reduce the time to create an application. However, the world relies on software supply chain is very difficult because of all these malicious code and vulnerabilities, which Professor Choi also have shared about the examples of the vulnerabilities as well. It makes it very difficult for developers to feel safe to use the open source libraries with ease. And also security team are very afraid of malicious code are being introduced into their environment because they have to stop it. They have to stop them from spreading, stop from stealing informations, or worse, causing operational downturn because of the malicious code. So this produce a fear to the DevSecOps industry. But actually, all this can be don't have to be this way. It can be solved in a way that we can create a high-performing teams by having a concrete and strong supply chain. So how do we have a strong software supply chain? Is that what is the definition on that? Is that we can have a high productivity of the development teams and the good risk management outcomes. In order to do that, in a way that we need to have a process, a tool, and communication in place between security team and development team, and a platform such a way that it can help to smoothen out this whole process. So back to the main title, how SBOMs can help you to drive a stronger SCA strategy. So number one is that through SBOM, we can give you a full visibility of all the components being used in the organization. So as also Professor Choi just now with the presentation, share the SBOM provide you the full details of every components, the version, and also the relationship. That means between dependency, that is what we call a transitive dependency involved as well. If you cannot see the list of components, that means you cannot detect. Because if you're not able to scan out the full components, you're not able to provide the database based on this component, whether it's good or bad. So SBOM provide you the full visibility of that. And just as mentioned about the dependency, there is a difference between direct dependency and transitive dependency. And a good SBOM tool will provide you a relationship for that within that dependency itself, whether inside got another dependency of it. So for Sonatype, we're able to scan out the full relationship for you and put in terms of SBOM format for you to view for your particular application. Number two is that through SBOM, then you are able to have a precise identifications of vulnerabilities. And to do that, it also needs to have a good database. That means the SCA vendor must provide a good database for you to help you to catch the bad malicious code and vulnerabilities. and also not catching the wrong thing. So let me expand a little bit more. So for Sonatype, we help you to pinpoint the vulnerabilities with greater accuracy by enriching the data provided by SBOM2. So for instance, if you generate SBOM, you can ingest this SBOM format into Sonatype lifecycle. And because we have our own database, we can help you to scan all these open source components and help you to find out, help you to enrich all this data based on our database. So if this particular SBOM tool that generated this SBOM didn't manage to catch the bad guy, Sonatype will, if have the data, will release the information to you. On the other hand, we also help to reduce false positive because there are some tools that use a similar name matching. That means if let's say certain CVE is there is a vulnerability information in it, let's say it's XYZ, and today when I scan this application, inside there is a component called xyz.abc. So some of the vendor, based on this similar name matching, will tell you, hey, this is vulnerable. But actually, if you go down to the class file, there isn't any vulnerability in it. So how we do is that we go down to the class file, will help you to identify and make sure that the class file itself does not have vulnerability. This is how we eliminate some of the false positive. Why false positive is bad? Because imagine your developers need to rush a project. They have a tight timeline, but they are not able to use these components because it's being deemed as vulnerable. So in a way that it will create a friction with them because it doesn't help them to achieve their KPI. They are being withheld from using that components that actually is safe to use. So our job is to provide the best quality database in the market so that customer have the, especially developers, feel at ease in using Sonatype product. Thirdly, through SBOM, we can help you to detect zero-day vulnerabilities. So every time when you do a scanning of an application, Sonatype will keep a record of SBOMs of the applications, and we will schedule our life cycle, which is a SCA tool, to scan these software bills of material every day for zero-day and malicious code in it. So every 12 a.m., it will scan this SBOM. If today our database managed to capture a new vulnerability, and if your component in it, that this component of the applications that has been released to the market, in it has this component, we will flag out immediately to the right person and notify the right security team and or DevSecOps team or DevOps teams. So in this way, we help you to capture the zero-day vulnerability and malicious code. So of course, the key requirements that this SCA tool must really very focused on open source research, which for Sonatype we have up to 100 research people that first we use AI to capture all the open source database out in the public repository. For instance, NPM today there's an upload of 10,000 new let's say JavaScript into it. We will use AI capture all this information. Python, PyPy, we capture all the new components, everything back to Sonatype, and we have our research team to do a deep dive investigation on all these potential threat and give you a very actionable actions into our database. So we constantly update the database so that every 12 a.m. when you scan this SBOM, we'll give you the most accurate and actionable information. And of course, another key point which thanks Professor Choi to mention about is the compliance, because SBOM is widely being used to send to authority to tell them that, hey, this is my application SBOM, and I have done my part. It's safe to use. Those vulnerabilities I have fixed it. This is the record. So it shows the record of what was released and when. It shows the record of vulnerabilities that is known and is being fixed, and it show you all the fixed results as well. So this is a list of regulatory requirements that we have seen in the world. It quite relevant to Korea in some sense, even though some of them are overseas regulatory requirements. Because, for instance, let's talk about CRA. If Korean companies selling digital elements, digital products to Europe, you have to fulfill the CRA requirement. Take it for example, Hyundai sell car to Europe. But nowadays, Hyundai car also have a lot of software digital elements, right? One day, just assume that this software element got hacked and Hyundai didn't manage to produce their vulnerability informations to the regulator in Europe, it will be fined 50 million or 2.5%. So for this example, even though Hyundai headquarters is sitting in Korea, with CRA stating that doesn't matter manufacturer come from which other countries, as long as you sell to Europe, you have to adhere to my CRA regulation. So the penalty is big, as Professor Chai has mentioned just now as well, 50 million and 2.5% of your annual turnover. So in order to achieve that, through SBOM and a good SCA tool will help you to eliminate the risk that potentially process contained in it. Yeah. So how does Sonatype help? So Sonatype have two products that can help with organization. Number one is we have a SBOM manager. So SBOM manager is useful for companies without a proper CI/CD. How it helps is that you can ingest a Cyclone DX or SPDX format into our SBOM manager. We will use our vulnerability database to analyze all the open source components in it. We will enrich the data with our database, and we will tell you, based on this SBOM, are there any vulnerabilities in it? And you can leverage SBOM managers to store the SBOMs and also distribute to customers, regulators, and anyone that you need to send to. So this is a SBOM manager tool. Or if you have outsourced developers that generate SBOM to you, you also can ingest into SBOM manager to make sure those components sent by your outsourced developers are clean. We have another tool called Sonatype Lifecycle. So Lifecycle is where if you have a proper matured CI/CD pipeline in the organization, we will recommend leveraging Lifecycle because it can be integrated with at different stage of the SDLC. For instance, SCM, build, repository, build, area, release, operate. You can integrate with different tools. This is the beauty of Lifecycle. We also, through Lifecycle, it can automatically generate SBOM, and so that you can use this SBOM to do continuous monitoring, which is the zero-day vulnerabilities and malicious code we mentioned just now. It will store in it. Every 12 a.m., it will help to scan. This is the way that we help you to find out, are there any new threats in this particular application. But of course, Sonatype do more than that. While we have a life cycle that's sitting within your software development life cycle, we also have Nexus repository, as mentioned at the earliest part of the presentation, where you can use repository to force all the developers to go through this repository to download open source libraries into this repository. And we have a firewall, which is a very unique product by Sonatype in the market, where it can help you to block any malicious code or vulnerabilities from coming in. For instance, if a developer today go through repository, go out to Python, pipeline, pull a Python package in, our firewall realize that, oh, inside contains a malicious code. So what will happen? It will quarantine, it will block it, it will not come in. But let's say this pipeline pull in component Python is safe, then it will come into the repository. And in the future, developer don't have to pull the components in anymore. He will straight away come here because the component has been cached here. They can straight away start doing the build. So this is the beauty of a repository and firewall. Yeah. So it's actually through this way, our customer manage to control log4j within 4 days. So from December 12th, where we discover they discover there's a log4j in the organization, to around around 19, we reduce the log4j presence by 80%. 80. They can do that because they have a life cycle that help you to flag up this log4j in the application very fast, and they use the firewall to block it. Do not allow the developers to pull in log4j anymore. So the combination of the firewall and life cycle help the companies to be able to find out where is the log4j in the application quickly, and also have the firewall to block it so that in the future they cannot put in anymore. So having these 3 tools together, it works the wonder for the organization. So what we see is that by 2026, at least 60% of the organization, when they buy mission critical software, they need to be mandated to have SBOM. So this is where the direction the industry is moving. The SBOM requirement is getting stronger as well. Yep. Thanks for joining. If you have any question, let me know. Oh, 감사합니다.